Hi everyone, it's Rena from Perth IELTS and PTE Tutoring, and today we are revisiting a question type for PTE Academic that I've already done before. It is the read aloud question type from the speaking section of the exam. Now, that was the first ever video I made. I apologize for the skills. I apologize for my current skills in video making and video editing. It's just not my thing. But that particular video was only with demonstrations and me in the bottom just explaining little things. Today we're going to go through a full tute. So I'm going to talk about the question type and then I'm going to go do a couple of demonstrations for you and I'm going to show you how to get really high scores, doing it the right way, not some other way. All right? So, I have lots of personal opinions about this particular question type. It's up to you to choose which method you seem to think works best for you. Okay, just remember that I strongly believe in content, I strongly believe in good English command, and I strongly believe in you doing it the right way. I will not be doing things where I just read one sentence or half the content. I will be reading as much of the content as I can. And I also don't believe in randomly dropping words just because you think it'll influence your fluency. Yes, fluency matters, but so does content because you're given 40 seconds to record. I expect you to speak up to 25 seconds, and I think that's how, the only way you're going to be able to speak up to 25 seconds is if you're using quite a bit of content from the read aloud passage. All right, let's just jump straight into it, and then we'll keep talking. See you in a minute.
So I am doing a repeat tute of the read aloud question type. And first of all, we're going to talk about all the basic rules and then some of my personal opinions. And we're going to do a quick comparison between IELTS speaking and PTE academic speaking. Let's get to it. Righto, as usual, we're going to start off with the no bullshit basics for read aloud. It's a big question. It is one of the most important, if not the most important question in pretty much the whole test. It contributes to both speaking and reading, as you can see here, speaking and reading. And it contributes more than a third, 1/3 of your total speaking mark comes from read aloud, and up to a third for your reading final score. So what happens in read aloud question types? You will be given a text of up to 60 words. You have 40 seconds to look through these 60 words and read the sentences, and then you are given 40 seconds to read these sentences aloud, right? The ideal sweet spot is 25 seconds, all right? Anything less than that, I suspect you have not read enough. You can be asked to repeat this question type up to 7 times. The good thing about this question type is that there is a beep that signals when your recording is about to begin. How is this question marked, you asked, and what aspects of the read aloud question are most important? Okay, that's complicated because I know lots of tutors that are going to tell you all sorts of things, like content doesn't matter, content matters, okay? It's proof that you understand what you're saying. So you're marked on your content, your pronunciation, and fluency, all right? Now, I agree with all the other tutors out there. Fluency is the single most important thing, but if you're not reading enough, you're not giving the AI tech enough to mark you on. So you will still lose marks, a lot of marks, if your content isn't great. Things I don't want you to do. Don't do the one sentence thing. It doesn't work. Don't drop so many words that you've only read half the text. Don't speak less than 25 seconds. Okay? That's really important, and I want you guys to really have a go at doing it the right way. So remember, content, all the words, as many words as you can, pronunciation, as many words as you can pronounced correctly, and fluency, as many words as you can pronounce correctly, as smoothly as you can. All right. Okay, so do I have a technique? You bet I do. In the 40-second prep time, your eyes, where are your eyes? They need to be looking at the text. Your mouse cursor just has to sit on the submit or next button. Okay, that's one option. The other option is if you are holding your mouse cursor and you are following along like it's a karaoke song and you are reading word for word, your cursor can follow along. But I don't recommend this. This is what I do. I recommend that only for highlight incorrect words. For read aloud, I would like you to just place it at the submit or next button. In the 40 seconds, I want you to skim through the text as quickly as possible and find the drop words. What are drop words? Drop words are words that you really cannot pronounce, or you believe that you will pronounce wrongly, or you think it will slow down the fluency of your answer. Okay? As soon as you hear the beep, start speaking clearly, consistently, and confidently. All right? No one wants you to speak too fast. No one wants you to speak too slow. We want you to speak at a consistent, steady rate. Okay? And in a confident way so that there's lots of clarity in your speech. Now, there are some serious pitfalls for PTE academic speaking, and I'm going to cover them today. Right? First of all, let's talk about the microphone. Now, the microphone will turn off and recordings will stop if there is a silence of 3 seconds or more. So let's say you've heard the beep, beep, and you go 1, 2, 3. Today, the examiner spoke about after 3 seconds, it will stop and automatically move on to the next answer. You screwed up. Okay? Then the second problem is strict negative marking. Repetition or mispronunciation followed by another attempt to pronounce the word correctly. So let's say you pronounce the word individualization wrongly, and then you an individualization. Every time you do that, it takes away points. False starts and hesitations will result in point deductions. As the test starts at the same time for up to 15 people in the room, you are one of just 15. You are all speaking at the same time, and it is ridiculous. Sometimes you will have people right next to you yelling into their microphones, speaking really, really loudly, and it's really disruptive and it's hard for you to concentrate. But this is one of the major downsides of this test, and you have since chosen to do this test, so this is what we're going to have to live with. Okay, so now let's just quickly compare IELTS and PTE Academic. IELTS speaking is done one-on-one with a single examiner in a quiet, private space. Okay, the entire 12-minute test is recorded and marked by 2 different people, 2 human beings. So the examiner that's right in front of you, and then another person who just hears the recording. The other thing about IELTS speaking is that only your speaking is assessed. Okay? In the past couple of years, IELTS has since introduced the one skill retake, which allows for just one aspect of the test to be taken or one section. So this will allow, if you've got low marks, say you needed a band 7 and you got a 6.5 for speaking and everything else was 777, you can repeat the speaking test, just the speaking test. Now, the price difference is pretty interesting. On average, the IELTS test itself and PTE Academic both cost the same amount. They're about $400 or 410 Australian dollars. The speaking one skill retake for any of the single skills is up to 270 Aussie dollars. So I understand it is expensive, but again, only one skill needs to be redone. You don't have to redo the whole test. Now let's look at PTE Academic. It's done in a noisy exam room with other test takers and invigilators present. Now, do not believe for a second that they say, oh, our AI is trained to cancel out noise and just filter out all the other rubbish and just hear your voice. That is not true. When you have 14 of you yelling at the same time, it is incredibly disruptive. Your voice is then recorded and marked by PTE Versant technology. You can go ahead and check out their automated scoring website for this. There will be no human intervention unless flagged. So for example, in your describe image questions, if the AI senses that you've been using a template or something has been memorized or something mechanical is going on, they will call in a human marker. Other than that, you are strictly marked by Versant technology. Next, this is a huge problem here. 4 out of the 5 speaking questions mark 2 skills. So it could possibly mark your listening, it could mark your reading, and it could mark your writing. Okay? If you screwed up, let's say you've got very low scores for speaking, there's a solid chance you've got very low scores for the whole test, right? And in that case, you will have to repeat the whole exam all over again. So it's a whole nother 400 Aussie dollars to be spent. Now this is my personal opinion. I'm circling it in red, okay? So come at me all you like, because at the end of the day, as an English teacher and as somebody who really, really loves doing my job, I can tell you now, IELTS speaking is far superior. It is a far better exam and assessment than PTE academic speaking. And I'll tell you why. First of all, the one-on-one situation. There is no noise or interference from anybody else. Okay, there's nobody else yelling at the same time, accidentally being recorded on your test. Your assessment is a fair, accurate, and the word that I've left out here is true. It is a fair, accurate, and true assessment of your verbal command of the English language. Okay? There is no way you can cheat an examiner. There is no way. So if you are a 5.5 and you somehow get a, say, which is the equivalent of, say, 30, I want to say 35 on PTE, and you get a 70 on PTE, let's admit that is not true. Okay? Next, the other reason I really like IELTS speaking so much better is that no other section or skill in the test will be influenced. So let's say your writing happens to be quite poor, but your speaking in English is really good. You are not going to bring down, your writing is not going to bring down your speaking score, and vice versa, your speaking score can't bring down your writing score. All right? The other really beautiful part is the one skill retake. Because the questions are purely speech related, speaking related, and only one skill is assessed, you can use the one skill retake to retake the test and produce a really good score. All right, this is my personal opinion. Let's move on. All right, it's demo time. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Read Aloud was my first ever YouTube video, and I just jumped straight into demos. So right now we're going to jump straight into demos as well, but you've already had a nice tutorial, some opinions, and some comparisons between IELTS and PTE. So let's get straight into the demos. This time I will just do it on ApeUni. All right? Okay, see you in a minute.
All right, friends, so here I am at my ApeUni dashboard. Let's do a bit of practice for speaking. As you can see, I've zoomed in a little bit, and we can start off with a couple of easy ones or medium ones, and then we're going to move on to really hard ones, okay? All right. Oh, I haven't even chosen something. Parent-teacher conferences. All right. Okay. So you can see you've got some prep time. There are some words here. This looks pretty easy. All right. Let's just go ahead and start. Obviously, because English is my first language, this is my job. It doesn't matter if I've read it before. Let me just have a go, okay? Schools host parent-teacher conferences 4 times a year, and it is important for families to attend. This is your chance to meet with teachers and ask questions about your child's progress. It can be helpful to write down questions ahead of time. All right, so that was a 14-second recording. Clearly, it was there wasn't much content. It was very, very simple. It doesn't feel right, but that's okay, because out of the 6 to 7 questions you might get, some of them could be this short. Okay. So let's see. I definitely stumbled a little bit in the beginning. Let's mark it, shall we? It's still submitting because my internet is slow. The AC is on. There's all sorts of interference. My washing machine is running. For those of you who are practicing at home, just remember that there will be noise. So you should be doing this in a slightly noisy environment. Okay? So let's click the score. Scores 14 seconds. Fingers crossed it's not too bad. We will get better as we go on, as I warm up. Okay, so we got 89. As you can see, I covered all the content. Pronunciation, the words were simple. There were no particularly difficult words in there. And fluency, I lost one point, which is totally fine. Just remember, full content, have a go, and it's about confidence and clarity. So let's do the three C's: confidence, clarity, and consistency. All right? Let's do another
Schools
one.
host parent teacher.
Shush. Let's do another one. Let's do one that is slightly harder. Undone, undone. Oh, this one's reptile says easy. Let's see. Let's do another page and let's find a hard one. Ah, Trisauropodiscus. Podiscus. All right, give it a second to load because the timer starts pretty much as soon as you start loading it. And as I said, there will be noise on your test day. Okay, there'll be 14 other people in the room sometimes. They're all talking at the same time. All right. So there are some words in here that you can see are pretty big. Trisauropodiscus. Okay. Distinctive. Ichnospecies. Let's do the word again. Trisauropodiscus. All right. Let's have a go, shall we? Notice I am going to try and read every single word. I've had a couple of practice rounds. Let's go. Numerous fossil sites in southern Africa preserve distinctive three-toed footprints that have been named Trisauropodiscus. For many years, researchers have debated what animals might have left these tracks, as well as precisely how many different species, technically called ichnospecies, of Trisauropodiscus there are. Okay, so it was 19 seconds. I read the full content. I did not drop any words. Let's submit, shall we? Now, what could you do on test day? So just remember, your eyes must be focused on the text. Your cursor is seated at the submit or next sign, and you are going to read it quickly or skim through the text. Find the words that you really might struggle with, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to read it and give it your best shot confidently, consistently at a standard rate. And once again, it's 89.90, 89.90. Let's try one where I drop words, okay? But again, I am not
Numerous fossil sites
going
in
to,
southern Africa.
once again, I'm not going to do one of those things where I just read one sentence. It's just not going to work, okay? But just for the sake of practice, since we've got lots of time, let's just do another one. Let's find another one. We did that one. Let's find another hard one. Medium, rare marine amoeba. Oh, that looks pretty good. Any hards on this page? No hards on this page. Let's do a medium. Rare marine amoeba. So just remember, your cursor needs to be sitting on the next. Okay, this is not a highlight incorrect word question. You're not following along like a karaoke. You are reading out loud what you've read. Okay, rhabdomeba. All right, so I've got 16 seconds left. I don't really care, but there are some words we should drop, like phylogenetic. I don't want to drop it, but maybe I could drop cultured strain. Scientists have recently rediscovered and managed to cultivate Rhabdomeba marina, a rare marine amoeba that has been documented in only two instances over the past 100 years. By studying this cultured strain, they conducted a thorough examination of its genetic sequence, unveiling the amoeba's position for the first time. So, as you can see, I dropped the word phylogenetic. And also, the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is breathing. Let's talk about breathing. Hold on. Let me just show you what marks I get. I dropped one word. One word is dropped. Do you think the AI is going to be able to detect it? Do, 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 do. Okay, so while it's marking, let's quickly talk about breathing. Now, other tutors are going to tell you to just read a consistent direct rate. Once again, I got 89. I dropped a word. It noticed that I dropped phylogenetic. It was very clear that I dropped the word. Okay. But I didn't lose any points for content. Interestingly enough, scientists have recently shush. So, one thing I want to talk about before we continue on is how to read and breathe at the same time. In fact, I might turn off the screen and just come back to camera and tell you what I mean. Okay? But, anyways, let's do a last one where I show you a medium. Earworms. That looks interesting. Let's do earworms and watch my breathing when I read it. Okay? So at the commas, a mild pause. At the full stops, I take a full breath and you will notice it. I'm not running out of breath because I'm reading so fast and I'm just trying to read all the content and spit it all out. No, I am calm and I'm consistently reading what I see. All right. Like the science of yawns, the reason for earworms is fascinating. They are a form of auditory imagery where we perceive tone in the brain in the absence of actually learning it. The auditory cortex is located in the temporal lobe of the brain, says Samata Sharma, MD, Director of Addiction Consult Psychiatry at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, who has published research on this topic. Now, did you hear the breaks? Now, let's see if we lost marks and fluency. But that was very obvious that I was taking an inhale and exhaling. I expect you on the test day to just breathe naturally at the pauses. It's a All right. I might lose points for fluency, but that's okay because I covered all the content. All right. So let's see how we did. Just remember, you cannot not breathe. You must breathe, especially if the text is long. Okay. And this also applies to repeat sentence. When you're reading 11, 12 words, sometimes that gets really long, doesn't it? Like the sign. So yeah, you really want to make sure that you can breathe and you don't run out of breath. Okay, so I lost 1 point, 2 points for pronunciation, and 3 points for fluency because I was inhaling and exhaling. Like the science of yawns, let's hear it. The reason for earworms is fascinating. They are a form of auditory imagery where we perceive tone in the brain in the absence of actually learning it. Oh, I said hearing it. The auditory cortex is located in the temporal lobe of the brain, says Samata Sharma, MD, Director of Addiction Consult Psychiatry at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, who has published research on this topic. As you can hear in the pauses of my voice, there are breaks. And even then, content, because my content's so high, I didn't lose that much. Okay, so we're sitting at 88 even with a huge inhale and exhale. All right, now just for the sake of experiment, as you can hear, the AI really loves this kind of tone, this consistency. What's going to happen if I just read one sentence? Let's do another medium one, domesticated rabbits, and this will be the last one. Get ready for it. So I'm just going to read maybe half the content. All right. Let's see, but I will do all of the words in that half content, okay? Domesticated rabbits come in all sizes and colors, including tiny Netherland dwarfs, floppy-eared French lops, Flemish giants, and fluffy Angoras. Okay, so that was just 10 seconds of content. Now and you know that this was a native English speaker being marked. Will it still get really high score? No, because we neglected the content. We shouldn't neglect content, okay, guys? Don't neglect content. I read all the words. Fingers crossed I did all right. Okay, 10, 10, 10. Did you see that, my friends? It noticed very clearly that I left out two sentences. Now I'm going to do something even more fun. I'm going to... Domesticated rabbits come in all sizes and colors. I'm going to read every second word, okay? And I'm going to show you what happens when I read every second word. Let's do another one. Ooh, deaf experiences. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to show you what happens when you still don't cover the content, but you have dropped it and you've gone right to the end. Okay? These, it seems, death experience common, the research, which hundreds cases narrow down medical definition that 15 of people who have been from a coma after cardiac arrest have had experiences. Okay, 16 sentences. Let's see how we feel about that one. These, it seems, death experience common, the research, which hundreds cases narrow down medical definition that 15 of people who have been from a coma after cardiac arrest have had experiences. Let's see how we went. Should be higher than before. It's still 10. It is still 10. 10 for everything. Now let me get back to showing you one last time how we do it the right way. Okay, my friends? Let's just do it the right way one last time. All right, there's a medium. Oh, what's that? Earworms. We've done it. Okay, let's do hair follicles. I'm going to do it the right way, okay? So there are some big words in this text that you can see: superfluous, follicles, temperature, dermatological, topical. Okay? Let's just go straight for it, give it your best, okay? When it comes to engineering human skin, hair may at first seem superfluous. However, hair follicles are quite important. They produce sweat, helping regulate body temperature, and they contain stem cells that help skin heal. Hair follicles are also an entry point for topical drugs and cosmetics, making them an important part of dermatological testing. Full content, I kind of fumbled, I think, at superfluous, but let's find out how we went. All right, that will be the last demo for the day, and it was just a short tute. I just want you guys to get an idea of working really hard for the read aloud. It is the most important question in the test, as far as I see. And of course, I've got lots of personal opinions about that. Pick to score, and let's find out. So just remember, keep your cursor in the right place. Read. If you really need to drop, go ahead and drop it. As you can see, friends, no problem. I covered all the content. Pronunciation, no dramas. Fluency, almost no dramas. I'm really
When it
happy
comes
with
to
that.
engineering humans,
Shush. I'm very happy with that. Okay, friends? All right. I will see you in a minute. So there you have it, folks. We did a tute, which included a comparison of PTE Academic and IELTS speaking tests. And then we did a couple of demos, one of which were quite a few I did the right thing, one where I just read one sentence, and another one where I dropped every couple of words. And you can see very clearly that the AI tech for ApeUni has detected it pretty easily, and I scored very poorly in those ones. Okay? Thank you so much for being here, for watching my demos, for listening to my tutes, for going through my rants. It's fun. This way I get to teach you guys as much as I can, and of course get the message through that PTE Academic is a test of English proficiency, and you should be working really on your English proficiency. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Next week, I think I will do a study plan. So how we work towards getting our goal, reaching our goal, your PTE Academic goals or your IELTS goals, and eventually at some point I will start putting out stuff for IELTS. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.